Welcome back to my channel. My name is JD, also known as JD Beauty. On this channel, I talk about all things beauty, but we also just talk about all things in general because I am a certified, verified yapper. You want to find out whether or not that's the truth? Just stick around for longer than 10 seconds. I'm sure you will know. I have a hot cup of tea and 600 milligrams of ibuprofen in my system. If you know anything about biology, then you will understand why. Today, we're not doing a full face of first impressions. I'm doing that bi-weekly. Full face, something else, full face. That's the routine so far. I don't know what I'm going to be doing in between the full faces. I've been winging it so far. Last week, 2 weeks ago, I did my brother guesses makeup, whatever. This week, I am doing my makeup the way I used to back in 2021/2022. I'm mixing 2021 and 2022 because they're both kind of like my biggest eras of makeup, and I want to showcase both extremes because somewhere in between 2021 and 2022, I kind of got good at makeup. Not fantastic, but I got better than I was in 2021 for sure. So I kind of want to take all of the aspects of just that general era and just mash them together into one look. One really bad look is going to be really bad. Now I've seen people do like half and half. They do one half the way they used to and then the other half the way they do now. I don't think I want to do that. I don't really have a reason. I just, just full out. We're just doing it the way I used to do it back in the day, 3 years ago. Back in 2021 to 2022, I was already into makeup, but I was really like testing how I wanted to do it then. I didn't have money, so I didn't have very good supplies, but I did the best with what I had, which was like one eyeshadow palette, 2 brushes, a beauty blender, and like a foundation that didn't match, a really light concealer. Just like I was trying my best with what I had, basically. This video, I'm gonna talk a lot, so it's probably gonna end up being long anyway, but hypothetically it's gonna be short because my process was really short, but I used to take a long time to get ready. I only used like 4 products, but I still took a long time to get ready. Anyway, I'm gonna be using products we've already seen before. I'm also gonna be using products that I've had since 2021, which you should not do because makeup expires. But I'm not a professional, I just work here, so I'm just using what I got. It is what it is. Don't do that though, because then your skin starts breaking out and your eyes start watering and you're like, oh my god, I don't know why I'm reacting this way, and it's because your makeup is 5 years old. Get new makeup. I know, money that you don't want to spend. Do it anyway, it's fine. I was watching some questionable YouTubers do their makeup and I was trying to do what they were doing, and I wasn't realizing that what they were doing and what I was doing was not the same thing, or it was the same thing and it wasn't working for my face shape or my skin tone or just generally anything about me. I forgot to moisturize my face. My primer today is homemade shea butter by my mom in a small glass jar. Very important part of my skincare routine. Also, I had to like really finesse my hair into something that looked normal today. I took my bonnet off and it was crazy. Like I should have took a picture so that y'all could have seen. My hair is truly just like, I took a spray bottle and some product and I said, I need you to become a shape. Just any shape other than the one that you were when I took that bonnet off. It was upwards, and I don't even know how I'd manage that. Anyone with locks knows what it's like when you first start them and they're just up there. You're waiting for them to drop and it just takes forever because they're like, oh, it takes like a year. I don't have a year. I need them to look good now. Going in with e.l.f. Flawless Satin Foundation. Watch my full face of e.l.f. makeup to, figure it out. Foundation first, as usual. I'm gonna try not to block my camera with my mirror, but we all know that I'm probably gonna end up doing it anyway. You know what really sucks? If you watched my full face of LA Colors video, that foundation was truly my perfect match. Like that was my best match I've ever done, but I can't wear it because first of all, it makes my skin look insane, but second of all, the scent is so strong. That was my best shade match that I've done so far. And the smell was just so intense. I couldn't do it. Okay, so after foundation, as usual, I would go in with my concealer, and I'm also, again, using e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer in shade Tan Sand. Now, I'm not entirely sure if this is the same concealer that I was using back then. All I know is that I was using a lot of concealer and that my face was bright. Now you're probably looking at me and you're like, wow, that's a lot of concealer. Surely there's no more, right? False. I look like I'm ready to become one with the Insane Clown Posse. I, at the time, wasn't using a brush to blend out my foundation. I was using a beauty blender, which I also was doing last year. Oh yeah, there it is. That really extremely questionable face of nostalgia. My face would always look so much brighter than my neck because I was putting on so much bright concealer on my entire face. And like my face still looks bright as I do my makeup now currently, but this is kind of insane. Besides the point though. Now, back then, I didn't have my e.l.f. concealer in a darker shade to contour, but I did have Oh Reliable. I know what you're thinking. Why don't you turn the palette around so I can see the name? You must be new here if you're asking that question. No. In this extremely old palette, I would go in and I think I used, it must be because that's the one that's like the most taken out. I think I used this shade here, and I truly would just go in with this brush here, the angled brush by Beauty Accents, and I would just snatched. That side might be worse than this side. I don't know. You guys know by now if you've stuck around. I have really bad peripheral vision in my left side. I can't see. I don't know what's going on over here. Yeah, I used to be extremely snatched. If I remember correctly, back then I was using the same shade that I used for my cheek contour, but I think I was also mixing it with this one for like a warmer color. I think I mixed those two together for my nose contour. Don't ask me why. I don't have the answers to your questions. I would put them at the bottom of my nose like this. Don't ask why. Again, don't know the answers to these questions. I'm sure I probably saw a creator do it online somewhere, and then I would just drag the colors up. This feels about right. Now, I had to go back in and like change it up a little bit because I forgot that I wasn't blending it well back then. After using a bunch of things from the exact same palette, I would then go in with Oh Reliable Maybelline Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder in shade Light Medium 20. Way too light for my face. You guessed it. Now, in the year of our Lord 2024, I started using a powder puff to apply my powders. But I didn't have that back then. I had a beauty blender. I would just go straight in with a bunch of it because this was the year of baking. I learned that word and really went far with it. I would truly put so much powder on and my face would be insanely dry by the time I was done with all the whole process. I'd get done with this whole process and I'd be like, man, my face sure does look dry, but that couldn't be any fault of my own. It has to be the products. Now, don't ask me why, because again, I don't know. But I did not powder my forehead at all. This was just wet. Always, I guess. However, I did go in with a lot of powder my nose. With a lot, like a lot. And it would always just fall down all around me and on me and make a mess. But you know, it's not like I'm ruining anything that actually matters. Just my incredibly cool Transformers shirt that I got from Five Below. Shout out Five Below. Every time I go in there, I grab a t-shirt. Doesn't matter what I'm doing, I'm getting a t-shirt. This would usually be the part of the process where I would like, my eyes would start watering or I would start sneezing or something and I'd be like, man, this is weird. It can't be anything that I'm doing though. It can't be. Eyes are watering, nose running, skin breaking out as I speak, like all that stuff would be happening and I'd be like, this literally could not be any less my fault. This is just genuinely how I would look throughout the rest of the process until I took all this powder off. And then you take the powder off and you're like, well, it's gonna look better after that. It doesn't. It never does. It never does. After making an incredible mess with a lot of powder, I would then go in to do my eyebrows while all of this sets. Hate to tell you this, I wasn't using brown yet. I was using pitch black eyeshadow. So I might not have been pointing at that at all, but I truly don't care. If you looked at it and you saw black, that's what I was using. Oh, at the time I had my eyebrows shaved off and I only kept the very tips. So I'm gonna have to like finesse this as best as I can because I'm not shaving my eyebrows for the point of this video. The point being that I was very bad at makeup at one point. Anyway, I would just take a bunch of black and I would just like straight up. Yeah, that's about right. I'm gonna try my best to conceal the lower part of my eyebrows, but this is what it was giving only a couple years ago. So the whole point of this video is to prove that you can really upgrade if you just keep at it. You know, if you're bad at makeup now, don't worry about it. You'll be good in a couple of years, but you just have to be bad now. Like, I just didn't understand the process of like blending my eyebrows at all. Yeah. After absolutely butchering my eyebrows, I would then go in to fix them up, carve them out with some concealer. Would you believe that this was the era that I wanted to start doing makeup YouTube? I wanted to do makeup tutorials on YouTube while I was doing this to my face. I was walking around looking like an angry bird and no one said anything to me. No one said anything. Yeah, I would do all that and then I would take like the excess concealer and I would just conceal the front of my brows to make them look less harsh, I guess. I would like to remind everyone that at no point did I set my forehead. All of this is going on, no setting. If you're looking at me, just wait until you saw who I was learning from. Mind you, I was watching makeup videos back in like 2016. If you remember 2016 makeup, you understand how years later, when I finally was ready to do my own makeup, this came about. Believe it or not, these actually still look better than any brows I ever did in any of that era. After all of that, I would then grab this gigantic brush that apparently is e.l.f. I would love to tell you what the name is, but all of it is scratched off. So this one, very fluffy brush. And I would just take it and make sure there was no product on it because I was always using it for different things. And just take all of that powder off and watch the way that nothing changes. Oh, the powder's gone. No, it's still on your face, JD. It's still on your face. And you look insane. And everyone knows you look insane. But, oh well. After all of that, I would then go in with some blush. We are all aware now that I am an orange blush gal, okay? We've been over this. However, I didn't know that in these ancient times a couple of years ago. So I would go back in with the exact same palette with this red right here. The one that's hit pan? Yeah, that one. This was my blush placement. I was doing like a mix between eyeshadow and blush, and this is what came of her. I truly looked like I was trying my hardest to enter a goth era, but I wasn't ready to commit. Like, I probably could have been goth if I was just ready to like really push it, because the brows, the blush placement, like all of it, plus what I'm gonna do with my eyeshadow, all of it was giving, yeah. Mind you, I had friends at this point, and they were all telling me that my makeup was so good. But also, when I look back at their makeup, we were all delusional and liars. We were delusional liars, the worst type of liar. I used to get compliments on my makeup often. Often. It really makes you wonder, like, it makes me want to go back to that time I was in the mall and the lady was like, oh my God, you look so pretty, look at your makeup, oh, you did your contour, your eyebrows, oh, you look so good. Were you okay? Like, you looked at this and you were like, this is good, I want it on my face. There was no balance. It was just like foundation, really light concealer over the entire face, really light powder over the entire face, contour extremely strongly, only in the cheekbones, only there. And then you put on really warm contour on the nose. But it doesn't matter though, because you're gonna cover it in powder, doesn't matter. Just wow. Look at my little mustache. Focus, lock in. I think that's enough blush for one day. Now I know what you're thinking, JD, Shirley, please, praying to every god in the universe, surely this is where you use any other product. No. So we're going back in with the exact same product. We're gonna do this and then we're gonna use black. Now, I know what you're thinking, JD, when did you use any of the other colors? Never. Again, like when you really look at it, just look at it. I was just trying to like soft launch myself into the goth scene and I wasn't being allowed. Not by any outside sources, it was just me saying, no, you can't be goth. It's the fact that all of this was just like always the exact same palette. I didn't get a new eyeshadow palette until like, I didn't start collecting makeup until last year. This became a thing last year. I just, 2023 hit and I was like, I guess I can get more makeup to add to my collection. Once I started back up YouTube a couple weeks ago, all of a sudden it became like a real thing for me to do this. I don't know why, and I can't even begin to explain it, but while I'm doing this, the only thing that's in my head is the entire Dreamgirls soundtrack. So I'm gonna get done recording this. I'm gonna go find my mom. She's taking a nap right now. I'm gonna wake my mom up. I'm gonna go into her room. I'm gonna look her in her eyes. I'm gonna say, we need to watch Dreamgirls, and we're gonna sing every single song. We're gonna say every single word, because one thing about our family, if it's a musical, we know it. If it's a black musical, we know it. I need to specify that because y'all be having way different movies than we have. Dreamgirls, Cadillac Records, The Five Heartbeats, Why Do Fools Fall in Love? If it's a song in it, we know it. The Temptations.
They come in to see the Temptations.
Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis.
Trust. Y'all probably be watching my videos thinking like, man, you yap a lot. Little do you know, I cut out a lot of me talking. I cut out so much of me talking you wouldn't even understand. After doing all that, all this, I wish I could like have that moment where I'm like, tell me it doesn't look good, tell me it doesn't look good. I mean, it doesn't look bad. It looks better than it did back in 2021. Like, even as I'm trying to do it bad on purpose, it still looks good accidentally because I've upgraded since then. I can't force my hand to do something bad. I'd make, put a little sparkle in the corner, as if that's gonna make any of this look good. Now, the next part is the only part of my previous eyeshadow looks that I want to bring back so bad. I'll go in, make the bottom lid extremely dark black. And just when you're giving raccoon, this is the fun part. Go back in with your eyeliner, eyebrow brush, anything that's just like skinny. Grab some black, and I would just go like this. I used to be so much better at doing this in one go. Wow. Please hold. Since we're on the topic of Dreamgirls, which we're not on the topic of Dreamgirls, but I am. My brain is. The fact that at the end of the movie, when they find out that Effie has a daughter, they're like, oh my God, why didn't you tell us? She had a whole singing number trying to tell you guys about what's been going on in her life, and you guys were just like, Effie, we all got pain. You guys didn't have pain. She was pregnant. She was trying to tell you guys she was pregnant. She came back, she was like, guys, I figured out what's been wrong with me. And you guys were like, oh, we replaced you, by the way. We're not a family, actually, get out. I can't, like, you get older and you realize that Effie was never in the wrong. I mean, she was in the wrong often, but in the grand scheme of things, she was not in the wrong. And just like the old days, the lines are not even. But tell me that's not cool. Tell me it's not, because if you, again, I hate to call you a liar, but if you try to tell me that this is not a cool look, you're a liar. I didn't do much of anything right when it came to makeup back in the day, but this, again, I was just trying to be goth without being goth. Like, I craved corpse paint, but I wasn't confident enough to do corpse paint, so I had the crow lines on my face. Nostalgia. I like to point out that during this era, I was extremely obsessed with clowns. I still love them, but I was very obsessed with clowns at this point, so I just wanted my makeup to look like I was giving clown. Come on. Come on. It's fun. It's fun. Tell me it's not. This look is unfortunately looking a little bit too cohesive, mostly because I've been taking a lot of 2022 and not enough 2021. So that means it's time to go in and do my lips 2021 style, which means there is absolutely no liner. In 2022, I was still using eyeshadow, but I was lining my lips. 2021 though, I had red, and that's all I wanted. The Cream Shop X Hello Kitty Hello Lippy, which I got for way too much money in some shop. It's red enough for this to make sense. Now go in, and mind you, I didn't want a red lip, so I wasn't putting it fully on. This is just what I was doing. You know, I had a lot of confidence, and that's what mattered. It wasn't earned confidence, but I had a lot of confidence to do this all the time and then walk out like I looked good. I would put a little, and by little I mean a lot of extremely blinding highlighter on. And then after all of that, after all of that, I would set my face. Luckily for us, I have my hydrating setting powder, setting spray. But back in the day, I just had matte setting spray. So I would do all of this dryness, all this powder and whatnot. And then I'd be like, oh, I'm going to save it though. I'm going to bring it back to life with some setting powder. Not knowing that once it dried, it didn't matter at all. It was going to be dry again. And there you have it, an amalgamation of 2021/2022, in which my makeup was just bad. 2022 was better. 2022 was a lot better, which is why I mixed them, because if I was just doing 2021, first of all, the video would have been 10 minutes. I was really just putting on foundation, concealer, just the bare minimum amount of contour only on my cheeks. I wasn't doing my nose yet. And then I would do like block brows, the red lip, and I was done. So I had to do something to make this. And then I had like these really cute glasses back then. Don't got them now, but it is what it is. But unfortunately, this is the finished look, which means this is the end of the video. Take it in. Take it in. This is what you guys could have had if I had the confidence to record back then. I got it now. So now you guys get kind of better makeup. I might bring the lines back. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is fun. This is still fun. I'm looking at myself in the viewfinder, in the mirror thingy, and this is what it was. This is just like me finding myself back in 2021 and 2022. This is bad. This is really bad. My face is so light and like dry and just, usually this is the part where I look at myself and I'm like, oh, I look so good. I still look good because I can't like force myself to do extremely bad makeup, but wow. Also, my eyebrows aren't even as bad as they were. Like, I used to like do them like up, basically. Not exactly straight, just up. But yeah, that's the look. That's me a couple years ago before I gained some sense, I guess. I don't know. This is just what I was doing. This is how I was walking out into the world. And mind you, you're probably looking at the lines and you're like, yeah, that was kind of extreme for back then. No, that's the part that I like still. I still want to do that. But everything else, this was, my face is so dry. Usually after a video, I'm like, I'm going to keep this on for a while, you know, while I edit. This is coming right off. No one's seeing it. No one's seeing me like this. It's over. This was it though. As usual, I do not have an outro, but not having an outro is kind of becoming my outro. Like, I say I don't have an outro and then that becomes, you know, I kind of talk about something and blah, 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 that's the outro. And then by the time I get to the end, I'm always like, yeah, I don't have an outro still, but that's it, bye. With as much as I insisted on putting on pounds of powder on my face, you would think it took me 40 days and 40 nights to take that makeup off. Nah, 2 minutes and two pieces of paper towel. Don't do what I did.